Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rock and Metal Guardian. I'm Dane, your host. Hope you're doing great wherever you may find yourselves, and blessings to all of you wonderful people out there. My cat Bowie has decided to join us once again today. This is the last video in my little mini series where I rank all the albums that involve guitarist, vocalist, musician Thomas Gabriel Fisher, aka Thomas Gabriel Warrior. The number one ranking is today, and this is the best of all the 18 releases from Celtic Frost, Hellhammer, Triptykon, Triumph of Death, and Apollyon Sun. If you've been watching this little mini-series, you know by process of elimination what my number one pick is. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But keep in mind that this is a series, Rock and Roll Cocktail, kind of a series within a series, on my Ranking the Albums series. And again, there'll be more of these, just different bands or artists. I wanted to spread these out and make 10 videos instead of one, because it would have been over 2 hours long and that kind of thing. But usually it's a one and done type video. So somewhere down the road I will do more of these. So the series isn't the series in general isn't over, but this particular mini-series within a series is. Alright, so let's get started. So my number one favorite Thomas Gabriel Warrior release is To Megatherion, which translates to The Great Beast from Latin. And this is a reference to both Aleister Crowley and the Book of Revelations, found as the last book in the Bible, once called the Book of Apocalypse way back when my mom was a child. So the opening track is Innocence and Wrath, just 3 seconds over a minute in length. It is essentially an intro to the next song, but here we have this bombastic classical meets opera type musical intro with use of timpani and horns. It's a great setup for the next track. I love this introduction. In many ways, you just think of this in The Usurper that follows as one track, but anyway, it's given its own designated track listing. So The Usurper, go figure, begins with, or nearly begins with, Thomas Gabriel Fisher going, "Ugh!" And then the song gets going. Signature tone we know and love of the Celtic Frost discography, as short and sweet as it is in many senses. This is essentially the signature tone that's been refined from the Hellhammer days. Nice gruff vocals, great riffs, that stutter and staccato type riffs at times. The song is brutal in a good way. You have some pummeling rhythms here. This has one of the best guitar solos of all time. There are two other solos, but they're brief here in the song, but I like them. The next song is Jewel Throne, perhaps a homage to the Conan Barbarian stories. Great riffs here. It's essentially a sword and sorcery, doom type metal song because of the title, perhaps, and because of the music that lies there within. Halfway through the song, it speeds up, so it becomes a thrash metal song and pummeling drums and bass. And the solo is a bit similar to the previous song, still great. At the 3.5 minute mark, you get this groove metal vibe now, and then it's just another example why Thomas Gabriel Warrior is a genius. Just wanting to pull from here and here stylistically, right? So you get a song that is doom, then thrash, and then groove, like Pantera-ish type guitar. It's wonderful. Next is Dawn of Megiddo. This is an ancient city in Israel where Armageddon will occur, according to some ancient texts. You have a dramatic intro, guitar and timpani, doom metal song, and then brief though, but you have a Slayer-like vibe in the music. And then you get the timpani that returns a few times, actually, with horns that reflect the final battle kind of thing, apocalypse and all that. The solo was blistering. It's wonderful. Let's see, what did I write? Oh, yeah. Part of one riff in the whole song is very similar to Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls, but not the full riff. It's like the introduction part of that in Metallica's song. Alright, the next song is Eternal Summer. Fast-paced but not super fast song, so a quasi-thrash metal song. Really cool guitar tone. The rhythm and pace is fantastic. Then it slows midway through, so Gabriel Fisher and his crew doing the opposite Sometimes the songs will start sludgy and doomy and then pick up and become thrash. Here, it's thrashy, but then it slows down. Cool solo once again, shred fest of a song, shred fest of an album really, and then it gets slow again and you get into that doom and groove type feel, and then it gets faster, so you return to the beginning and becomes full circle. It goes full circle. Next is Circle of the Tyrants. Motorhead meets Metallica vibe here all the way. Doom vibe too, doom metal vibe. One of the best songs in the whole 18 albums I've been talking about for the last 10 days. A lot of finesse here in the song, little micro touches here. Halfway you get this Overkill, Motorhead like feel to it, and then you get this Eddie Clark like solo. So Kill 'Em All era meets Overkill is the order of the day for Circle of the Tyrants. Then you get a wonderful song called Beyond the North Winds. Great riff here, and you have the da 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 da, something like that. And this is the motif of the, with the exclusion of Apollyon Sun, perhaps, you will hear this riff in much of Gabriel Fischer's work, and it's just part of what he does. He reuses bits to refine them and improve upon them and that kind of thing, because they fit and that kind of thing. It's a great shift when this occurs. Great guitar solo as well. The riffs later on in the song have a Hellhammer tone to it, but refined, as I said before. Much of this album has that. Then you get the song Faded Eyes, which in many ways is a part 2 to Beyond the North Winds, and that's because you have similar riffs, if not the same riff, with the da-da-da-da, 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 kind of that For Whom the Bell Tolls kind of riff going on here. It's almost the exact same riff as the previous song, so that's why I think of it as a part 2. The tone is slightly deeper though, plus you have this metallic hammer sound at the same during the da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da riff, and you hear this big clink every time the riff is played. It's really cool though. So that's a little, again, Gabriel Warrior refining things. The percussion, like the previous song, is one of their best. The tempo is great. At the 3-minute mark, the song slows down mid-tempo, like you're marching off to war kind of vibe. And then the motif returns, that guitar riff. It's a really cool song. Love it. It's a great to and fro song because you have the to and fro between the fast and mid-tempo stylings in the rhythm. Really great. Next is Tears in a Prophet's Dream, a short and sweet song, just over 2.5 minutes. Avant-garde metal at its best. Cool sound effects. Dramatic piece, soundscapes for an imaginary horror movie. It's essentially an intro to the next song. The way I describe this is if Pink Floyd were a heavy metal band. Think Pink Floyd's Sweet Man and the Journey. That would fit almost on that album, except it's heavier and gloomier and doomier. Next is Necromantical Screams. You have a Slayer vibe in the intro. It's brief, but a cool vibe nonetheless. Guitar here is great. The background vocals are wonderful, female ethereal background vocals and ethereal music to go with it. The timpani returns, it's dramatic. Again, that classical flair here. Again, imaginary horror type movie soundtrack song going on here with Slayer tone, low in the mix now, layered nicely, though briefly, with the other music, the other heavy, doomy music going on. There's brief moments where the guitar sounds almost exactly like the Children of the Grave Black Sabbath riff. Really cool. Perhaps that's intentional. The solo I wrote in my note card here, right? Timpani and the Slayer motif returns, and then you have this atonal guitar at the end and some feedback to those things. What a wonderful song. And then finally, make sure I'm right here. Yes, you have the 1985 Studio Jam version of Return to the Eve. This is a it has a quasi-anthemic feel to it in brief moments. Vocal phrasing is what gives that anthem feel to it. It's negated by its heaviness, though, so it's not full-blown anthemic type song. And of course, you have the uhs to demonstrate a shift is coming next in the music. The riff here, or the riffs here, are totally badass. The main riff is totally over the top badass. There's a brief solo and it's great, but too bad it's so brief. You have some female narration later in the song to give it some atmosphere, approaching the 3-minute mark. It's brief, but it's really cool. And then the motif riff comes back at the end, and it's just fabulous. This is, not counting the blasphemous album cover by Geiger. I love this album. As you can tell, it's my favorite album in the entire Uber discography of Thomas Gabriel Warrior. So there it is, everybody. Done with this little series within a series, Rock and Roll Cocktail, where I blend and rank albums that have a common denominator, a particular musician involved in all the projects and that sort of thing. There'll be more of this. I'm not sure when my next one will be, but when I'm inspired to do so, I'll have it for you. So thanks so much for watching. See you next time.